Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So here we are, episode 5 of DieCash Cribs, and I had the absolute pleasure and honor of reviewing a private collection that is valued in the six-figure territory, and it's a collection that actually belongs to one of my close buddies. And for today's purposes, and to keep his identity on the DL, we just call him Mr. VETTE. We'll get into that detail a little bit later in the video. But he is a true OG when it comes to the Hot Wheels collecting game, or diecast, really. I mean, as you'll see in his collection, he's been collecting since 1996. That's 27 years in the hobby, and his collection definitely shows that age. I mean, basically collecting all the hottest pieces in every single era of the Hot Wheels game since then. I mean, no shortage of chase pieces, your basic main lines, all the way up to the rarest numbered pieces that you didn't even know existed. And that's exactly what DieCash Cribs is all about, is to shed some light on some of these amazing collections that we would never otherwise see. But without further ado, let's dive right into this guy's amazing collection. So the car that started it all for Mr. VETTE was this red Ferrari F40 with the gold blade wheels. And then, soon after, he was able to find a full set of the first real riders from Hot Wheels. And guys, the addiction just grew from there. You won't believe it, but as far as the eye can see within his collection room is nothing but super treasure hunts, 95% of which were all wild found by himself, which is a pretty amazing feat. I mean, how often can we really say that? I know I can't say that. For me, it's more like 95% were purchased off of eBay, to be perfectly honest. But man, you can see they're not just mediocre supers either. I mean, you got the GT40, I mean, multiples of the GT40, Lambos, Skylines, Porsches, GT40s again. I mean, multiples of GT40s. He said that was one of the supers that he found the most in that year. You got the Skyline R34 in green. You got factory sealed pieces that he's been able to pick up from mini sets and master sets. Ford Mustang. And his absolute favorite, the Fiat 500. Haha, inside joke. But yeah, as you can see, just an endless amount of supers as I just keep scaling his walls. I mean, it doesn't end. I mean, my camera was basically about to run out of battery. But 210 supers total, and Mr. VETTE and I talked about it. We're thinking about $50 average value of each. That comes out to $10,500 on just his Supra wall alone. Alright, let's cool down with some of these loose cars within his collection. And as you can see, he's not a very biased collector. I mean, he collects anything automotive, any cars, anyone that catches his eyes. I mean, he's got fantasy, he's got Batmobiles, he's got treasure hunts, VWs, Euros, JDM, he's got muscle cars, big Silverado trucks. I mean, you name it, it's all within his collection. He's got his fair share of Hot Wheel displays. He's got the latest and greatest. He's got the Ultra Hots. And these displays, they aren't just for show. I mean, as you can see, I was digging through there. I mean, there's depth within his collection. I mean, they go way back into each one of these shelves. I mean, there are a number of cars. This I thought was interesting. Ertl, Dukes of Hazzard, Boss Hog, unpunched cards. I mean, basically mint condition, just sitting in a box. Speaking of boxes, just a random box of RLCs with a Nismo R34 on top. And as we dug around, oh look, there's a membership purple R34 just hanging out in a box. $200 piece just sitting there. Again, you got more displays coming over here. You got a 2022 Super Treasure Hunt set with the EK9 Super. And this piece, one of his grail pieces, the 1995 vwbug in green with the purple wheels, sitting at about $400 a piece on the secondary market right now. The man is also a massive Pokemon collector. Oh yeah, there's some more supers kind of mixed into all those Pikachus, along with some other carded, boxed RLCs. And then just hovering right over the man's workbench, I mean, you got a number of different DieCash cars, Johnny Lightnings, RLCs, you got Muscle Machine, Authentics NASCAR, I mean, you name it, followed by this pretty awesome For Life NWO set It's just pretty cool to see those 90s wrestlers in diecast form. And then turning just slightly right here, you got some Fast and the Furious love. You got the original Fast Import set, right now sitting at about $100 a piece. And then you got the quarter mile muscle cars at about $75. And here we got some more Pokemon action. I mean, sealed, wax. I mean, that Kanto Power Box is sitting at about $200 right now. M2 Raw Chases. You got the Coca-Cola VWs. You got a Super Bird. I mean, man, all out of that 250 elusive quantity. I mean, here's another. I mean, how many folks have that many M2 Raw Chases? Also has a number of variations, like this dark card variation for the membership R34, followed by a Spectra Flame mainline of the Cobra Super Treasure Hunt. I mean, I wonder if Mike Zarnock even knows this variation exists. Coming over here, we got another Spectra Flame Target Red Edition Corvette. And I recall I found this one way back in the day as well too, but just cool to see another person have the same car, the same variation. And you would expect someone that's called Mr. VETTE to have the Matchbox Super Chase C8 VETTE, followed by a couple of Target Red Edition EK9s, more Super Treasure Hunts, a Bugatti Veyron. I mean, man, his collection does not end, and it's just all piled into these boxes. I mean, I don't know how the guy keeps track of all this stuff. Here you got a first edition drag bus, followed by, this is something I've never seen before, but a Barbie commemorative Camaro, limited to 7,000 pieces. Just to give the viewers an idea of what else this guy has within his collection, Mr. VETTE insisted on going through a number of his boxes. So just randomly, Silhouette, RWB Porsche, with a couple of other gassers from Boulevard in there. And what's that car that everybody's searching for right now? It's black. I think it's made by Nissan. Man, what is that car? Oh yeah, that's right. The Liberty Walk ER34. Just sitting in a box, $250 piece. I mean, it's insane what you find in this guy's collection. Another box, EK9s, Honda Civics from Fast and Furious, all in yellow. I mean, basically a $300 10 count box. Here we have another solid sealed case, this time all white Toyota Supras from the Toyota Car Culture set. Basically another $300 box of Toyota Supras. Keeping the unboxings going. I mean, this box, no rhyme or reason, but just a lot of neat retro entertainment pieces, all premium. Got another Silhouette RWB. Got some Gumball Subarus, which are some of my favorite cars still in my personal collection. So glad the man has a couple of those representing Subaru. And then another massive case, this time nothing but store exclusives. You got the Kroger Lambo in lime green. Surprisingly, right now these things are going for a pretty penny, about $10 a piece right now in the secondary market. Another box, this time all Boulevard gassers. Another $200 box just sitting there in storage. And you guessed it, another box, this time's premiums. I mean, you got the 22B Boulevard, you got the Barbie extra car, ER34 silhouettes from Boulevard as well too. And Mr. VETTE wanted to know if there was a lot of Porsche fans out there, because he has quite the Porsche collection of Speed Machine chase pieces. I mean, by my count, there was 6 of them just sitting in this box. Pretty insane stuff, guys. Toyota Super Boulevards, Golf Silverados, Gas Monkey Premiums. I mean, man, no shortage. Nothing but respect for this man's collection. Store exclusives, you got Zamax. I mean, all of these boxes, they're not just your basic mainlines. I mean, they're significant, sought after cars. And this guy just went above and beyond to cherry pick and get all of these cars added to his collection. I mean, this is true dedication, true passion for the hobby. But yeah, rounding us out, you got a couple of Kroger 510 exclusives, followed by some Target Red Edition Hello Kitty Cool combis, But yeah, that was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, just look at the guy's storage. I mean, we'll leave this up to the viewer's imagination. What else is in here? And just when I thought we were done, Mr. Vet took me outside to his garage where he recently just picked up a pretty massive collection of over 5,000 cars. And he's already gone through and started to log what the values of each of these cars are. As you can see, all the little price tags sticky on each of the boxes. I mean, crazy finds. I mean, a lot of vintage pieces. I mean, we just dug through one tote. I mean, you can see these are out of 10,000 pieces from Matchbox from the 90s, all in gold. I mean, these are basically the treasure hunts from back in the day, and he's got a whole tote of these. So again, just more treasures within the guy's collection. I mean, he's got an eye for this hobby. He's got an eye for what cars, you know, are the most significant. And again, just kudos to him for being able to find all of this and add it to his massive collection. So Mr. Vet is also super generous. He gave me a little parting gift on my way out, which included the Ertl Dukes of Hazzard Boss Hog unpunched card, basically mint condition. He had a couple extras of the Real Riders 1996 series, the Unimog, as well as the dump truck. And then he also threw in one of the Matchbox 1 out of 10,000 75th challenge cars, the Ferrari F50. Nothing but appreciation for the guy. He didn't have to do it, and I'll have to try to reciprocate somehow. But to summarize on the guy's collection, I mean, nothing short of spectacular. I mean, just anything you can imagine this guy had his hands on. His own personal highlight had to be his 1995 Super Treasure Hunt vwbug, which again, as I mentioned earlier, is sitting around that $350 to $400 price point right now. Funny story too is that in 1996 he had gone to a couple of DieCash shows and events, and he was offered the 1995 Camaro Super Treasure Hunt at one time for $40, and he was saying that at the time, again 1996, I mean, that was just way too much to spend on a 99-cent DieCash car, so he passed. And he's basically just kicking himself now, given that they're currently right now selling for over $1,000. And as far as overall value for his collection, basically we broke it down as he's been collecting for 27 years. Every year he purchases around 400 to 500 cars. And again, you guys have seen the tier of cars that this guy collects. We averaged it out on a very modest sense. Every car is average $10 a piece. That comes out to $108,000. And again, a very low estimate of what this guy's collection is. And again, we touched just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there was guaranteed some other gems within that storage unit. And I almost forgot to mention Mr. Vet. We call him that because his ultimate goal with his Hot Wheel collection is to ultimately sell it so that he can actually go and purchase a C8 Corvette, a Z06. Right now, MSRP is right around that $120,000 price point. I honestly feel like he is there. I mean, if he can find a buyer for his collection, I'm sure he can get those keys sooner rather than later. But with that, I would just like to thank Mr. Vet for allowing me to review and just take a deep look at his whole entire collection. I hope you guys all enjoyed looking at this private collection as well too. Let me know if you are interested in being showcased in this DieCash Cribs series. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.